This conference will now be recorded.
The Azure pipeline, right? I asked you to really create the Azure pipeline, and we have seen how we can really deploy that particular pipeline. So I want someone to, again, I want to walk you through that entire process so you can also see that, how we are really going to do it. So who wants to share the screen and show us the action? Deva, Tulsi, Niroda, Nirosha, anyone? Hello, guys, can you hear me? Hello, hello.
Yeah, yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so are you open? Are you okay to share your screen and show us what you are really doing?
Yeah, I can share, but I log in through my office laptop. So,
Okay, guys, do tell me how should we really proceed here? Because this is not acceptable. I don't think me. I'm kind of blaming him very harsh. How do I know that you're really doing something which we are kind of like I'm teaching you here? How do I know? Or should I assume that you know everything and I'll just continue and will not ask you anything? If you think so, let me know. I'll just finish this course and we'll just kind of like go it. Because somehow I am not feeling confident that you guys are really doing some practice. I don't know, but like sure, no problem. Ramana, are you open? Okay to share your screen?
Yeah, I can do that, but yeah, my this retail got expired. Guys, anyone is
Okay.
having retail credential, please. Later you can change your password. The class who is having other login credentials. Come on, guys, respond for anyone. In the class, anybody is having Azure credentials. Deva, Nishosha, Tulasi. So do one thing, Rohit. Just take any example you only, and in Java application, or try to do yourself. I can do myself, but I don't have this free trial, right? It got expired.
Phew.
I'll try to make today again the new one.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, but I don't understand. Like, that's okay. But this is so funny. You guys, maybe I'm not specifically talking about you, but most of the guys are really not having their accounts. They are not interested. They just come here, listen, and go. I don't understand what is happening. Are you guys really following things? Are you, because I don't see that. Let me ask you a few questions so I that at least I can really do it. Nirosha, you can you hear me okay? Or Tulsi, can you hear me okay? Hello, Nirosha, I can't hear you. Tulsi, can you hear me? Hello, Tulsi,
Oh, yes, sir.
can you hear me okay?
Yeah, yeah, yes, sir. Actually, I
Okay,
have missed
so
a few classes, sir. I was busy in some other work.
okay, are you doing some practice?
Yeah, yeah. I'm coming from where I have missed the classes. Like I was lagged from 4 classes.
Okay, so what you have understood so far? Can you tell me what you have tried yesterday or maybe so far?
The last class I have seen is like Git. I have completed the Git, sir. Like I mean,
Okay,
seeing
what is
the Git
Git?
classes.
What is Git? What is Git?
I mean,
Okay.
in Git, we can, where we have the files from our system, we can push there in our personal Git account. Like we can create the public repositories and private repositories and everything, sir. And we can make changes. We can pull from the other repositories also where there are public.
What are some of the advantage of using Git?
It's save. I mean, the time to time changes will be saved easily, and the commits, according to the commits, we can see who changed at where, which step. So according to that, we can easily access if there uh, if there any mistake, we can easily go from that step only, and we can make changes. We can store our data safely.
Okay. Uh, Part of it is correct, but try to use some terminologies, right? Version control,
Yeah.
your
Actually, I'm
put
a
and
fresher,
permission,
sir. I
because
have to start my career
no, no, that's
still yet.
okay. That's okay. I completely get that. But get habitual, because I never use this time to time changes and all that. Why I'm telling you, I'll tell you. These are some of the things which will really give you a job, like in an interview. If you talk about this, if you instead of
Yes.
time to time changes, if you are saying version control, you will get a job. Otherwise, you'll
Okay,
not
sir.
get a job. As simple as that.
Okay,
Okay,
sir.
because whoever the interviewer is, he is really trying to understand what terminologies you are really using. So you have to use something like, when we are doing a version control, it's a very good version control system. It's having all the secure things which is already there. It is providing you the access controls and everything. You can really pull and push the repository. You can create your local repository. You can pull and push repositories. Okay, you can really share that with other. You can collaborate that with other teams to have your same thing. It has a branching strategy. You can create multiple branches in that one. These are very very basic things which I already had discussed like 100 times so far. I think these are some terminologies you have to write it down. Somehow you guys are not taking notes. Try
Okay,
to
sir.
take notes. Try to take notes. What I still do, I'll tell you, I still do. I'm not saying that I'm not doing it. Recently I've completed my AI certification. I still do the notes. Whenever I get trained, I always go for that training, and I'm actually not getting the this kind of a training where I can ask questions, because there are very few people who are teaching AI, or maybe they're kind of like stuff. So I wanted to really go. I read the things, and I see that video maybe like 20 times, and I take out the notes, and then I refer those notes. So I know that okay, I have whatever I've learned, I have to take that notes. So my expectation during your class is just take a pen, paper, normal college thing, normal school thing. Take a pen, paper. I know that you might be not able to type anything. Take pen, paper, and write it down the terminologies which I'm using. When I'm
Okay, sir.
talking
I'll
about Git
in.
version control, you have to, and it's not just for you. Okay, I'm telling about everybody. Even after 20 years of experience, I am doing that. Otherwise you will not learn. Forget about just reading, coming here and listening, and then going back, and maybe expecting that I will be reading all the videos in the end of the week or something like that. It's never happened. Never happened. So please follow this basic practice. I'm not expecting you to really do. And second thing is, in on a weekend, perform everything whatever you have. Look guys, this training is just for 2 months, right? And you have all the opportunities, and I'm sorry to say, but you're missing all the opportunities. You have paid for this class, right? It's not free. And definitely you have to take 100% advantage of whatever you are really getting 10 here. So this is the best option. You can ask me questions. You never ask any questions. That's very very strange. I don't know. And second thing, if you're not any doing any practice, and if you're not confident to say about at least things, then I think you are not really getting a any value add in this training. Perfect. I really want to. I'm not the guy who is just trained. I really want, whenever I'm training, I'm because I'm putting my efforts. It's not like money, but I'm also putting my efforts. Right. I want someone to really get that one. It's my passion. So please, at least put up your 100%, and no, let's have that thing together going at with this. And because this training is for you guys, not for me. I already know all these things. Okay, so Perfect. I think that's what I really wanted. And again, yes, we will be now. I think I'll have to start taking the interviews every 2 weeks or time. So be ready on Monday. I will take out the interview thing. If you are not really able to answer me on interview, I will cancel that day class and we will continue from Tuesday, because I'm not really having a confidence that you guys are really doing what is supposed to do. Perfect. So let me share my screen. Sorry. Okay, so yesterday I showed you that we have actually created one Docker pipeline, right? And in that pipeline, we have really tried to deploy the application. Like we have created the couple of applications where we have tried to deploy it, and we have also created couple of app services, right? We have seen this app services, how we are really going to deploy it. Now I'm going to show you how we can really use it for the other systems. So let me open one more thing here. Okay. 1 minute. Okay. So what was the thing which we had tried yesterday, right? We had, let me check in case if I have that app service here, or otherwise I'll have to create that web app service. Okay, so I have this two web app services. I've stopped it. I'll just go ahead and start it one more time. Can someone remind me that what was the problem actually we were facing yesterday? Anyone remember? We tried to deploy our pipeline. Everything went well, but there was a problem. What was the problem? Anyone? So we see that, okay, there are a couple of stages which we have created. We have deployed our application, and I can see that, okay, the application is properly deployed. However, when I'm going to connect to this particular application, okay, so if I click on this one and if I click on this one also, there was one problem. What was that problem?
Permissions.
Exactly. So permissions was not there, right? Because what happened when we created this two systems, I can see there is an application error here. Why application error? Because if I go back to the environment, right? Maybe in case if I show you something like this, right? You are creating a web app here. Like you have created a web app. Okay. This web app is one of the service available in your Azure environment. Now, what is going to happen is you are saying that I have one ACR, and this ACR is a private ACR, right? We don't have a public ACR kind of a scenario. This is all private. So what I want is that I have this private one, and using this private ACR, I have one image which is already there here, and that image name is select Python. Okay. Now I want to deploy this Python image into my web application. So when I'm running this one, if this is a public one, right? We have tried this public one, definitely this will work. Very good, no issues. Public, no problem, because you are allowing to really download that one. So pull is always available for public. But even for the private one, right? Even the pull is not available. Why? Because I want to secure that. I don't want my application to be accessed by anyone else in the world or anywhere outside my network. So what I can do, I need to provide a permission here. Okay? So where this permission detail I can really store. So for this one, we have an option in web application which say app configuration. Okay, this app configuration is generally used for putting all the credentials and details which is required by this web application. So this application may be, say like in case if I have one application here, I have a database. Okay, as we all know that to connect to database, okay, you also need something like a database string, right, to connect to this database. Now that string we have already seen in the application when we are really created. We have seen that what are same information it will have. It will have DB, it will have your username, okay, it will have password, and it will have server name. All these four things you really need when you are trying to connect to this database. Now adding this information in the code is definitely not a best practice or not a good way. Correct? You don't want to expose your credentials inside the web application, because eventually these credentials, in case if you are exposing that in a code, they will get put up in the git also. Correct? Because whatever you are storing here, your code is storing, so that code is to be there in the git repository, and then that git repository will get deployed onto the web application. Correct? Now we are not really doing, but we are creating a Python. Eventually that means I have to store everything in a git repository. I don't want that. I don't want my password to be really available in my git repository. For that, what I can do, I can just refer a app config. So I can put up this information, okay, whatever the information I have inside a app config, okay, as a variable, or maybe as a values here. So DB and the value, the username and the value, password and the value, server name and the value. But because this will be stored in a very secured way, in case if I'm not allowing access to web application, I can really secure a kind of like, nobody will be really having any access to this particular thing. I can hide this particular configuration. Okay, there are other options also, like, ideally I should not be really putting up that in the app configuration. I should really put up something like a key vault. But maybe in this scenario, say like we are going to put up the app configuration, because I don't want to store it here. And in the git repository, what I'm going to say is, okay, if I want to go to the database equal to app.config dot db, something like this. I will just say, I will refer this, saying that, hey, go to app config, and there is a db variable. You can put up from the db variable, and it will automatically get deployed and connect to that one. Exactly same thing you need to do it for your ACR also. So when you are really deploying this one, but only difference here is that there is a different variable name you need to really provide. What is that variable name? That variable name is mentioned here in our application. So if I go back here in my system, okay, if I go back here, configuration, okay, these are the things. So I need to really put up exactly same way. I have to copy this. Say like if I copy this one, I have to put up in exactly same way password, and then whatever the name I have for URL and for the username. All these three things I have to really put up in the exact same name. Okay, now when I'm putting up exact same name, which is fine, I am having this password, and then here I am providing whatever the password you have, everything is there. Now when the application is trying to pull this image, it will understand that, okay, this is a private repository. Then it will pass on all these credentials whatever I have saved in the app configuration here, and then using that app configuration, it will log into my ACR automatically, or dynamically, and then it will try to then pull the image, and this time it will say, yes, I'm able to do it. Now there are two ways actually. What we can do is, we can, from where we can get this information. Okay, again, very simple. We have to go back to our overview page, or sorry, not overview, we have to go back to our ACR. So I will go to container registry. Mm, Container registry. I will just go to container registries here. I will go here, and if you remember, we always enable the admin kind of like access here, right? You remember here access keys. So here we have already enabled this one. This is the URL, this is the username, and this is the password. All three things I need to really put up. So in case if I want to update, because right now if I click here, there is nothing here, right? If we click here, nothing is here. If I click here, nothing is here. So here it's all MCR, whatever I'm really going with. Here you don't have anything. So I need to update these three things here. So should I go ahead and manually update it? Okay, should I go ahead and manually update it? No, ideally not. Okay, but say like in case if I want to go ahead and put up here manual, okay, I want to really go, I can change that one, right? I can just click on edit here and I can paste a password here. Or sorry, where is the password? I'll go back. Um, yeah, password. I'll copy this password. I'll come back here and I will put it here. But again, this is I don't want to really do it manually because I want to do it everything automated. How can I ensure that I'm really putting all this information whatever I have in an automated way? So for that automated way, what we are going to do here is that we are going to use our pipeline, okay, and put up all the information, this information inside my pipeline. Okay, so let's do that. So how we are going to do? I am going to in my pipeline, okay, in my pipeline we have a section as a variable. So I'm going to create few variables here. So I'm going to say like create ACR underscore URL, and we'll put up the URL details equal to whatever the name you have, not in this one, right? We have to put up like this, and I will put up the URL. Then I will create ACR underscore username, and I will create ACR underscore password. Okay, and I'm going to use this variables in my pipeline. Correct? Let's go back. So I will go back my pipeline. I will click on my repository. Here I will go to my pipeline, and I can see that okay, there is a configuration which is already I have provided because I have created two pipelines here, right? First time when I have created, I definitely use a normal I've already connected that one, so my one web application is already having that configuration. But still I don't want to really put up like this way. I want to update this as I go. So for that update, if you remember, we have actually updated one piece here, just the name. Can you see here? I'll just make it a little bigger so you can see that. Okay, so we can see that there is a name actually which we have updated here, right? If I go back, I can see this name is there. Okay, this name is there. That means in case if I want to also update other things, I just have to add some more configurations there. As simple as that. Okay, so what I need to really do here is I need to go back, copy this entire thing. So I will copy this username, I will go here, and in my pipeline I'm going to add one more option here. So I'm going to say space. Okay, sorry, I'm going to edit it first, and I'm going to say space, and I will copy the Docker registry name here. Okay, and how I'm really putting up, I have to give hyphen, then the value of the name, space, and in double quote the actual value. So hyphen key name, then space the value of this one. Perfect. I'm going to do the exact same thing here also. I'm going to say hyphen and Docker registry server name user, okay, space, and then the value of that one. From where I can get the value? I can get the value from this particular thing, right? So what is the thing which I really want to first put up is a username. But instead of doing it everything here, because I need to copy it here also, right? I need to use it on both the things. So instead of that, I'm going to use something like a variable here. Let's create a variable so it will be easy for me to change that. So tomorrow, in case if you also want to try, you can change it. I just will create here something like a ACR underscore URL. First thing, ACR underscore username colon and ACR underscore password. Perfect. Let's go back here. Let's copy one by one. So I'm copying URL and we'll put up here URL in a single code. Then I will copy my username, again space and single quote, and then finally I'm going to copy the password. I can copy any password here. I'm going to copy password the first one. Perfect. This is something which we have. Okay, so this is something which we have updated. Now I'm going to use this in my variable something driven, right? How can I really put up here? First thing, I'm going to use the URL. I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to say URL first. So let me go back. Let's copy the URL details here. So copy this, or you can just click on here, come back, hyphen this, space. Now how to specify a variable in a pipeline? Dollar, okay, and in the brackets. And then I'm going to say ACR underscore URL. First thing is there. Perfect. Now what is the next thing? Next thing is I want to get the username. I'm going to click on username. I'll copy this. I'll go back and I will hyphen and put up my username here. Okay. Again, space. I can put up dollar in the bracket ACR underscore username. The third thing is space. I can go back. I can copy this password. Okay. I can copy this. Sorry, not this. This one. And we'll put up here. Again, hyphen. Sorry, I missed hyphen here. And I'm going to say dollar and then ACR underscore password. Perfect. I will just cross verify that name I have put up. I put up the Docker registry URL space ACR URL. Very good. Space Docker registry server username, ACR username, and then hyphen Docker registry server password and ACR password. Very good. I will copy this entire line, app settings, because I want to update it on the both the applications. I will paste it here. The only change which I am going to do here is the project name. I'm just going to mention it one again, because here I have a two, here I have one. Perfect. Now this setting we need to really put up. And once we put up the settings, it will automatically go ahead and update my configuration and my application. This one right now you can see the application error. The moment I commit this one, it will go, it will update the configuration in my system here. Okay, in my configuration it should update, and once the update is done, I should be able to communicate or connect to my application. Perfect. Let's see. So here, as we can see, nothing is like Microsoft, or nothing is here. Let me go back. I'll just commit. I will say updated ACR details in app config settings. Okay, perfect. Let's commit. Let's wait until our pipeline is executed. I'll click on here, click here. So it will perform everything, right? It will first again build up the new image. It will kind of like tag that image. It will push that image. Once the push is done, then it will start with the deployment. Once the deployment is done, like for first, it will update the app configuration. Once the app configuration is done, we can see that in our app config. Okay, so build is done. Now deploy is started. Okay, can you see here? It is automatically updating everything here. Very good. And this is the problem also, right? Why? I'll show you why this is a problem. Let's see that. But first, let's get this finished, and maybe when we will be seeing the problem here. Or what do you guys think as a problem here? Anyone?
Looks like service account, it says.
No. What else? No, the pipeline will execute everything. Not a problem. Everything will go fine. But there is a issue. Whatever changes I have done, in that there is one major problem. What is that problem? Never expose your credentials in a pipeline or in a Git repository. Exactly the same thing which I mentioned to you, right? That we are going to expose everything. I don't want to expose anything in my Git repository. If that is there in the application configuration, everything is fine. But right now, what I did, I've created one variable in a Git repository and I hard coded the variable values there. Hard coding, right? This is a word we need to really understand. Hard coding means you are putting up a username, URL, and password as a hard coded value within your code, which is a bad practice. You should never do that. Okay. And what we had done, or what I have done so far, is that I have actually kind of like, I have hard coded all the values here in the pipeline itself. But first, let's see in case if it is done. Yes, and I can see that clearly here, right? In case if someone can take out of this one, they can easily connect to my registry and can destroy everything whatever I have, because I am providing all my credentials exposing here, which is definitely not a good way. Okay, but let's go back here. Now earlier we had this problem. Let me just refresh this. Meanwhile, refresh this also. I think it's still trying to load. So, mhm. Logs, invalid image pull failed. The default local copy if image. Okay, because it is okay. It will go. This is a little slow service actually. At least the configuration we should be really having, and it will come back. Okay, now if I click on here, can you see the details are already updated? Whatever we have really done, and that too within the without ACR thing, right? So we have all the credentials now. I can see everything is looking fine, and I can see that whatever information I have updated using my repository, okay, in my pipeline file, it's all updated here. The only problem what I see here is that I'm using this as a variable, which is okay. However, I'm not really using, and I'm using all the credentials here itself, which is not a secure way. Okay, I'm using all these configurations and everything, which ideally we should not be really doing. So what is the best way? So the best way is you use a variable, but as a part of your pipeline variable. There is a concept like a pipeline variable, which is more secured way and can really allow you to use that variables in a different projects or a application specific. How should we really do that? Let's go back. So in the pipeline, when I'm really using this pipeline, right? If I go back to pipeline, I have something like a library here. Okay, if I click here library, now I can create a variable group here. Now what is a variable group? So if I have a pipeline, okay, like the way I'm having this web application app configuration, and between these two things, right, where I'm because I'm trying to deploy my application, I have this pipeline which is already there. This is my Azure pipeline. Now in the Azure pipeline, I have written some code. I'm saying okay, everything is something which you can really take out from there. All the codes are everything uh, uh, here, right? And I have these variables, whatever the variables, they are a part of my pipeline. Okay, and I'm really writing all the information about these variables and everything, but I don't want to expose them as a part of my code. I want to have this as an external entity, okay, which is nothing but a library. And inside this library, I have a concept like a variable group. Variable group. Now, what is this variable group? This variable group is nothing but that whatever the variable you are really using, instead of exposing that in the Git repository or the Azure repos, you can create a group where you can exactly provide all the information like the same way you are providing. So here I can say ACR underscore name. I can say ACR or URL, something like this, URL. I can say ACR underscore username and ACR underscore password, like these three things. Okay. And I'm providing all the values, everything, whatever I have, like in a code. And in my pipeline, when I'm using a variable, I'm just mentioning or I'm using this group name, whatever the group name I have, as a variable group here, as a variable inside my variable. I'm just saying, hey, I have a variables here. Inside this variable, I have a group, and my group name is something like a web app, okay, or project, whatever I can really go to put up a project here. That's it. Now, import this group, once I import this group here in my pipeline, I can import everything, whatever is a part of that variable group, and I can directly refer that as a normal variable in my pipeline. So in case if I created a ACR underscore URL here, I just have to use the exact same way which I'm using right now. So in my pipeline, say like I have created an app configuration here, which is app config, whatever I have, like Docker URL, right? I'm just meeting here, and I'm using a same here like dollar and then ACR underscore URL. Now you might be saying that, okay, I haven't really used this ACR underscore URL because there is nothing in the variable which is mentioned. And if I just run it, it will say that, okay, there is a problem. I do not find this particular thing. I'll show you that one. And then we will refer this as we really move on. So before that, first let's try to create a variable group and then we will follow this use case. Okay, so I'm going to create a variable group. I'm going to click on variable group here and we will be giving a name of this variable group. Now the beauty part is in a variable group, you can have hundreds of things, hundreds of variables actually, which you can really specify. So I'm going to specify here is that web app demo, just a normal name. And here I can add variables like key and values, whatever the key and values I have. I'll just go ahead and start adding. I will first add ACR underscore URL and I can put up the value whatever I have. So I'll copy this value again. I will put up here. Now I will say ACR underscore username. I will copy this value and sorry, I'll copy this value and I'll put up here. And then I'll say ACR underscore password. Okay, and then I will use this password value and I will put up here. Now you can see, okay, everything I can see here. Why we are really using this, why we are talking about, like, this is a very secure way of doing this. The secure way of doing this is because there is a tiny icon here. Can you see this tiny icon, lock icon? This is currently unlocked. That means in case if I save this, okay, and if I go back to my library, if I come back again and I can see the same value here, can you see its value is still there? But if I just click on this thing and if I click on this thing also and this thing also, so now it is becoming a hash value. If I unclick this one, I can still see a value, but the beauty starts when you save it and when you go back and when you now come back to the libraries here. Now all these values are secret values. Now you click here, you will not see anything, it's gone. So in case if you want to update it now, you have to update it. Otherwise, the value which you have added here, now no one can see. Even you will not be able to see because you have added something and now you cannot really retrieve that value. So this is a very secure way. So in case if you want to put up any value, anything here, and that's what I said, right? I don't see anything here, even though I have added one, but I can't see it. I have to go back and copy paste other than this. Otherwise, that value is still there, but it's hidden. It's not visible now anymore to anyone. Perfect. And even if you try to print this value, you will not be able to print it because it will just say sensitive data or just say hash hash hash. I'll show you that. Okay, perfect.
So
Let's go
future
back
they
to,
will change the password. Then how can we update the password?
yes. In case if they want to change the password, you come back again, copy this and paste it here again. New value.
Okay. So this means that once we enter this variable in the configuration file, this
Hmm.
credential will not show up, right? Expose there, right?
Right. Yes.
Okay. Instead of this username and password, we're just giving the variable. That's it
That's
in the
it. You are
configuration file.
going to use this variable in the pipeline, right? That's it. You are going to use the exactly same type as we are going to do.
Okay.
Okay. Let me show you one more time. So say like in case if I now go back to my pipeline, okay, I'm going to open this as a new repository here and I'm going to use this. Now, if I remove these three things, I can just simply remove these three things. Okay. If I remove these three things, now this will fail. This will not be able to understand that where I'm actually having this was because even though I have added that as a pipeline variable, I haven't imported that here. I need to import that. But before that, I want to show you what is the difference. I'll just say commit here and let's go back to the pipeline. Leave and let's see. The first build pipeline might be executed, but deploy will really fail. Or let's see whether it will fail or not because eventually it will not having that one. So ideally it should say that I can't find this ACR underscore whatever you are really telling. I can't find it. Or it will not update anything. It will update blank. As simple as that. Because it's a part of my variable now, I think it might leave it or leave it blank because it will not understand this one. Let's see. Or it will update the blank in my URL. In case if I go back again here, not it, it says updated in the RK demo here. Let's go back. Let's see what it actually updated. Must have updated the blank here. Look, can you see? It updated the ACR password because it think like this is the value. So it really put up this one. This is definitely not a value, right? This is a actual variable. But because it did not find that variable, it just updated $ACR password, $ACR URL, $ACR username because it didn't find that in the particular pipeline. Okay, this is the problem. Now, in case if I want to use that, what I need to really do here is that we go back and mention something like this. If I go back again, I'll just click on edit and here we are going to say a group and whatever the name I have provided to my pipeline, right? The library, I need to really provide that name here. Okay, so I'm going to copy this name and I'm going to paste it. Okay, but the challenge with this approach actually, that it will not be able to get this. Let's see, in case if I can really do it, I can commit this, it will fail. Let's see, go back. There is some problem detected in the pipeline. Why? Because the way I have mentioned the libraries, okay, this is not the kind of like way we should be really putting up. Why? Because when I'm really going to create this one, okay, I cannot simply just push up a name, a group, and then name like this. In case when I'm really having other variables in the place, I cannot really mention like this one. So if I'm using a group, okay, first of all, I will use it at the top just to ensure that I have having a group. And then when I'm really having all these variables, now ideally you should not keep anything here. Everything should now go back to your variable group. It should always go back here as a part of this one also. So what you can do, you can create one more variable. You can just type here this one, and you start adding all the information here for that variable. So here also you are going to copy, and here going to paste it. You're going to say paste, and second thing also, third thing also, whatever you have, like you already have a container registry name, you can really skip that, because now you can use that container registry name as a different thing, but it's okay, you can really copy this and paste it here. Now these two values you are kind of like say, okay, I have copied this, but this two things, right, whenever I'm talking about the Ubuntu and everything, so I can delete this service connection and everything I've already added. uh, but this tag and the image is something which I want to really keep inside my pipeline. I don't want to keep them as a part of my library. I want to keep that as a pipeline. So I'm just saving this one. So it now have two more variables. So it should be available. But with this one, what I can do here is that I need to provide a name and the value tag here. Then only it will work. Otherwise, it will not work. So in case if we have a variable which you need to really put up inside the pipeline, then the formatting will get changed. So the formatting will not be like this, key and value. No. Now the formatting will be something like this. The name is tag, and the value will be this. And exactly same thing you need to redo for this one also. So now the name is VM thing, and then value should be like this. Now this will work. You seen how I actually changed it? I had tag colon this one. I had image VM image name and colon this one. But if you are using a group, then this formatting will not work. You have to change the formatting of mentioning the variable slightly different, because now you are taking all the variables as a variable group. Along with that, you are also mentioning some more variables. Okay, let's save this, or let's commit this, and let's say how we can really do it. Commit, go back to my pipeline. I will just open this pipeline so we can see the difference here. I'm just going to refresh this. Now my pipeline started, right? Last time it failed, but now it started. If I go back to this pipeline, I just want to show you one major difference which we have seen last time. This time you have seen, or not this time, before this. Okay. So before this is what the problem. Before this, I want to go here and go to the app container. Okay, here we have seen all the names and the credentials and everything. You can see the credentials and everything here. Let's see this time what is going to happen. So if I go back, need permission to build and push, view, and I'm going to, so first time, because I'm using it using the variable group, I'm going to mention yes. Let's see. So far this is working. That means it automatically took the the credentials from my, or the details of my connection, connection strings and everything from my library here, because I have put out the connection content registry and the service connection, so it automatically take up all that information, which is good, and that's why it is really running. Now this time, let's see. Now can you see the difference? It's all star star stars. Why? Because I have specifically mentioned that this is not a normal string, this is a secret, so should not really move. Here you can see the secret, and here you can see the difference. Everything is exposed, correct? Here nothing is really visible, only my variables, that's it. And those variables, it's also something like here also it is not showing you anything, because now that URL also become a secret here. Earlier, if you see, that URL was also like listed here. Can you see here? So because we are using a secret values, because we are using the variable, and this is the best way to really use it, you can really go ahead and add it as a part of your pipeline. So what we have seen today, we have seen how we can really apply or update our app configuration to ensure that we have a pipeline in progress properly, and how to secure these credentials whenever we are really running a pipeline. So I don't want to save anything in my Git repository. I want to keep that as a part of my library, Azure pipeline library, as a variable group, and then I can use that variable group here. How to mention that variable group, how to use variable group with other ad hoc variables in case if I want to really put up in the pipeline. That's what something we have seen. Perfect, guys. So far with me. Any questions? I will go back meanwhile and I will just refresh this one more time. Yep, now I can see it's come back. Okay, everything is good. Even with this, it should be there, and it will come back. It will take some time, but it will come back. Configuration, still there is a problem. Yeah, but it will come back. It will take time. Yeah, I can see, yes, everything is fine. So both the places I have seen, everything is there. In the deployment center, I should see that my application should be there. Okay, it's connected. Yep, it's kind of like taking the repository. This is my repository name, Python application 245. Everything is good. Okay, so that's it for today, guys. Anything you have, any questions, anything to discuss? Nothing?
No, no, it's fine. At least tomorrow we'll try that our practical.
Yeah, yeah, please do that. That's very, very important, guys. And again, I can really share the code with you. There's not a problem. That code is already there in my Git repository. You can really put up on there. But try to create this by your own. Don't use the code which I'm giving you. Otherwise, you will never get a confidence that this is just a very copy paste thing which I'm doing, right? There's nothing here. Very, very simple approach. Just try it once. I'm sure you will be able to do it without any help, and that's when you will be able to learn. Perfect, that's it for today, guys. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Keep practicing, very important. Don't lose your practice, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.